This video's come about because of Melissa on Patreon. Hello, Melissa. I'm sure you don't mind me saying your name. Probably a quick one, might help some people. I always say it's going to be quick and then I ramble. What is a pathworking? Melissa, you wanted to know? Well, I'm going to explain what it is in my terminology, in the way I understand it, and the way I am doing pathworkings, and the way I have created them as well. So let's get into it. Now, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm Sarah, that divination witch, and this channel is a witchy safe space and community. You can share your journey, share questions, nothing silly. Everyone's different and everyone's welcome. If you want to join the community, hit subscribe. It's free. You may as well. And if you want to support the channel further, all my links are below. I've got a shop, an Etsy, Patreon, all sorts. I've taught tarot, I do readings, and this year on Patreon we're going through the Year of the Dark Goddess, which in itself is a pathworking, which we will explain, where we explore different archetypes of the dark feminine. So if you're interested, please go check it out. Thanks. Right, a pathworking. So this is an umbrella term, and it's probably in the name itself to describe in spiritual terms a path that you take. Now, when I say a path, I don't mean you're a green witch, you're a folk witch, you're an occultist, you're a black magician. I don't mean labels like that. And I don't mean orders either, like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn or Thelema or other magical orders, the OTO and things like this. I don't mean that, okay? A pathworking is something, well, I suppose anyone could do, really. One of the most popular ones is the Kabbalah, the Qliphoth and Sephiroth. Either side of that tree is a pathworking, because the tree is the path that you go along. So that's one of the more popular ones because it's been around so long. You know, it was the 1500s, Jewish mystics came up with it, and then the Hermetics took it on. I've got videos about it. And then since Kenneth Grant and Crowley, the Qliphoth side is a thing as well, the left-hand path side. And that in itself is a pathworking, you know. So with the Tree of Life, I'll put a picture on the screen. You start at the bottom normally, Malkuth, which is Earth, all the spheres. They represent different planets, different planetary energies, no matter how you're doing it, because there's different ways. And you work your way up. Same with the Qliphoth. You can take the road that you're told to take, sort of thing, that's laid out, because there's numerous textbooks on it, grimoires on it, that you can follow. There's people out there who have took that and made their own little nuances on it, especially with the Qliphoth. There's grimoires out there that talk about different rituals you can do to initiate into each cleaver, each sphere, basically, and you know, you can do this and do that and whatever. That is a pathworking. It's something that is laid out for you. It's something that you go into with an end goal, because when it comes to the Kabbalah in general, well, the end goal really, it's, for lack of a better way of putting it, it's enlightenment. Kabbalah came about because of the theory that a human soul isn't kind of whole. It's kind of soul retrieval in a way. It's like putting the pieces of you together. It's healing, you know. So you've got a goal in mind, whatever that goal is, okay? But that's not the only pathworking out there, but that's the most common one that you may see people talk about in spiritual, mystical, occult spheres. There are very many pathworkings out there, to be honest. Probably too many for me to count. A lot of grimoires, a lot of witchy books even give pathworkings, give you pathworkings. Even, you could say, a beginner's witchy book could be a pathworking for very beginners, because your ultimate goal is to learn and to get to a certain stage, so you follow the steps to get to the stage. Now, on my Patreon, I set up a pathworking Year of the Dark Goddess. So I've done it over the calendar year, 12 months, 12 archetypes of the Dark Goddess. And the goal is for us to be empowered at the end of every month. The individual goal is for us to learn from the archetype. So the first month I named it the Wild Woman. That was all about your primal archetypes, as in primal as in being wild and free and untamed. It was connecting with our animal spirit. It was connecting with that more animalistic, nature-based side of us. So the goals in that was to find out what that means to us, to find out, well, what are our limitations that stop us connecting in that way on a daily basis, and to learn from that. What advice can we glean from our more animalistic side? Because we're all human animals, you know. So it was looking at that, and we looked at goddesses like Agraboda. We looked at even goddesses like, she's gone out my head. The bear goddess, Artio, Skadi, even Artemis, you know, and we looked at things like that. Okay, so that's an idea of each month, but ultimately throughout the year, we're looking at different archetypes. So there's a primal one. We've got other ones coming up. This April coming up is going to be about rebirth. We've gone through seductresses. We've gone through other primal, like inner knowing, more like not just animalistic, but primal as in primordial. We are going to be going through some other ones, like the crone aspect is going to be a month. Don't want to give too much away. The siren, I've themed that around speaking up instead of seduction, you get me? Like, yeah. So we're looking at different things to hopefully become more in ourselves well-rounded. So it's similar but different. And that's something I made up. That's something I was guided to make up to help me and others. And that's what we're learning and going through. And getting advice from these goddesses throughout the months. So that's another pathworking. And there are many people who've made their own up in that regard through grimoires and things like that. So many I couldn't even count. I mean, I've got a grimoire on the bookshelf themed around Yggdrasil, similar to the Sephiroth stuff. It's not all tree-based, by the way. Not all pathworkings are going to be tree-based. But yeah, it's themed around Yggdrasil, which is the Norse realms. And there's stuff you do themed around each realm that's found in Norse mythology, like Helheim and Alfheim and Midgard and, you know, all the different things. There's another one I've got which I haven't done and I haven't properly looked into. I got it years ago. It sticks in my head. Something 13 gates or something. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's any good or not. In my opinion, obviously. But that is something someone made up, you know, or was guided. You know, I don't mean made up in a derogatory way, by the way. But there's loads out there. But what I would say, if you, and I've got videos, I don't know if it'll be out yet or not, I've got videos explaining this more, but if you have picked up a grimoire and it's something that seems a bit strange, you know, just be careful, because some of these things, people don't have your best interests at heart all the time, and sometimes people make these pathworkings to be, I'm sorry, I'm going to spit it out, to be an edgelord. So you don't want to be doing anything dodgy, as in hurting yourself, as in, you know, committing yourself to something you don't understand. But there are many many good ones out there as well. There's one I've got on the shelf, big thick book, Womb Awakening, and there's pathworkings in that. It's all about like the divine feminine as well, basically. There's one my friend's doing, which I hope she doesn't mind me saying, which I don't know where it came from. I think there's an occultist on YouTube who talks about it, Curtis Joseph. He seems like a nice guy. I don't know him personally. I know some people who know him, but he knows his stuff. And it's something about, he calls it the Great Dragon, something like that it's called. But basically it's centered around the 72 demons of the Ars Goetia and their opposing 72 Shem angels. And they all together make up one big dragon. That's the symbolism. And it's a path working, as in you work through with each spirit one at a time. I don't know what order it goes in or whatever, because I'm not doing that. It's not my thing. But it's to achieve wholeness. It's to achieve, on the left-hand path, sometimes people say apotheosis, which is like your own godhood, to be as strong as you can be, you know, because each demon and each angel in those grimoires, they rule over different things. So you would work through those energies. So it makes sense to me. Seems really interesting. It's not something I'm personally drawn to, but it does seem interesting. So that's a path working, essentially. There's all sorts of varieties. So it's something that's spiritual and / or magical with an end goal in mind. In its simplest terms, it normally includes shadow work and magic, really, if you're talking about spiritual things. But it's got to have an end goal in mind, a path working. Whereas a path is something, you know, I could say, I don't know, I'm on the left-hand path. Right now I technically am. I'm in the Clifford. Left-hand path is a philosophy to me anyways. It's about self-empowerment. But it's not something I'm strictly following. I must do this thing, then that thing, then the other. You know, it's not a roadmap. It's not something that's laid out. It's intuitive. It's my lifestyle. It's my life. It's different. A path working will last for a certain amount of time. And then it's done, you know, and you've got your end goal. And that's that. So I decided to make this video public because I thought it might help others, basically. So it's pretty simple. That's what it is. Now, if you've got anything you want to elaborate on it, put it in the comments below. If you've got a different understanding, if there's any path workings out there that you've encountered that might actually be really helpful and useful, put it in the comments, because, yeah, the more we know, the more we can help each other and grow. If you made it this far, you may as well hit subscribe. If you want to learn more, my channel's packed full of different things. Go check it out. And until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I don't know why I said it so like that. But yeah, all right, bye.